The practice of gentle self-awareness. Self-awareness is the foundation of good mental health, but it doesn't need to be intense or analytical. It's more like becoming a friendly observer of your own experience. Throughout your day, you can simply notice what you're thinking and feeling without immediately trying to change or fix anything. This might look like pausing for a moment when you feel stressed and asking yourself, what am I noticing right now? Maybe you're holding tension in your shoulders, or maybe your mind is racing with tomorrow's to-do list. You're not trying to solve anything, just acknowledging what's there. When you practice this gentle awareness, you stop being completely carried away by your thoughts and emotions. Instead, you develop a kind of inner stability, like having a calm center in the middle of whatever storm might be happening around you. This awareness creates space between you and your reactions, giving you more choice in how you respond to life. Over time, this simple practice becomes a reliable source of inner peace.
The art of emotional acceptance. One of the most peaceful mental health strategies is learning to accept your emotions as they are, rather than fighting them or trying to make them go away immediately. Emotions are like weather. They come and go naturally when we don't resist them. When you feel anxious, sad, or frustrated, instead of judging these feelings as bad or wrong, you can acknowledge them with the same kindness you'd show a friend who's having a difficult time. You might say to yourself, I notice I'm feeling anxious right now, and that's okay. This doesn't mean you have to like uncomfortable emotions or that you can't work to improve your situation. It just means you stop adding the extra layer of stress that comes from fighting your feelings. It's like the difference between being caught in rain while fighting it versus accepting it and finding appropriate shelter. When you accept your emotions, they often naturally begin to shift and change. Paradoxically, the fastest way through difficult feelings is often to stop trying so hard to get rid of them.
The power of slow breathing. Your breath is always with you, making it one of the most accessible tools for finding peace. When your mind is racing or your body feels tense, simply slowing down your breathing can create an almost immediate sense of relief. You don't need any special technique, just breathe in a little more slowly than usual, pause briefly, then exhale a little more slowly. Some people find it helpful to breathe in for a count of 4, hold for 2, then exhale for 6. But even just paying attention to your natural breath can be calming. The beautiful thing about focusing on breathing is that it brings you into the present moment. When you're worried about the future or replaying the past, your breath is happening right now, anchoring you to this moment where you're actually safe and okay. This practice is especially helpful before sleep because slow breathing naturally activates your body's relaxation response, preparing you for rest while quieting mental chatter. The sanctuary of routine. Having gentle routines in your life provides a sense of stability and predictability that can be very soothing for your mental health. These don't need to be rigid schedules, just small patterns that create comfort and structure in your days. Maybe you have a morning routine of drinking coffee while looking out the window, or an evening routine of tidying up and reading for a few minutes. These routines become like anchors in your day, providing moments of familiarity and calm. Routines are especially helpful during stressful or chaotic periods because they give you something reliable to hold on to. When everything else feels uncertain, you still have your morning coffee ritual or your bedtime reading time. The key is choosing routines that feel nurturing rather than burdensome. They should add peace to your life, not pressure. Start small and let routines develop naturally based on what actually makes you feel better. Movement is one of the most effective natural treatments for anxiety, depression, and stress. But this doesn't mean you need intense workouts or complicated exercise programs. Even gentle movement can significantly improve your mental state. This might be a short walk around your neighborhood, some stretching while watching TV, or dancing to a few songs in your living room. The goal isn't fitness achievement, but rather the mental health benefits that come from moving your body regularly. Movement helps release built-up tension and stress hormones while producing feel-good chemicals in your brain.
It also provides a break from ruminating thoughts and can shift your energy when you're feeling stuck or low. The best movement for mental health is whatever you'll actually do consistently. Choose activities that feel good to you rather than what you think you should be doing. Your mental health will benefit from any movement you enjoy.
The wisdom of saying no. Learning to say no to commitments, requests, or activities that drain your energy is essential for maintaining good mental health. This isn't about being selfish, it's about being honest about your capacity and protecting your well-being. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying no to something that might. When you overcommit yourself, you end up feeling resentful, exhausted, and overwhelmed, which doesn't help anyone. Saying no can feel difficult at first, especially if you're used to people-pleasing. You can start small, declining one social invitation when you need rest, or not volunteering for an extra project when you're already stretched thin. As you practice this boundary setting, you'll likely find that your relationships actually improve because you show up as a more rested, present version of yourself when you do say yes. The gift of solitude. Spending time alone without distractions can be incredibly restorative for your mental health. This doesn't mean isolating yourself from others, but rather creating regular periods of quiet solitude where you can reconnect with yourself. This might look like sitting on your porch without your phone, taking a bath without music or podcasts, or going for a walk without calling anyone. These moments of solitude give your mind a chance to process experiences and settle into its natural rhythm. Many people find that they get their best insights and creative ideas during these quiet times. When you're not constantly consuming information or interacting with others, your inner wisdom has space to emerge. Regular solitude also helps you become more comfortable with yourself, which is the foundation of inner peace. When you genuinely enjoy your own company, you're less likely to seek external validation or distraction from uncomfortable feelings. The practice of gratitude. Gratitude is a gentle way to train your mind to notice positive aspects of your life, even during difficult times. This isn't about forcing fake positivity, but rather developing the skill of seeing what's actually going well alongside what's challenging. You might keep a simple gratitude journal, where you write down 3 things you're thankful for each day. They don't have to be big things. Maybe you're grateful for your morning coffee, a text from a friend, or the fact that you have a comfortable bed to sleep in. This practice gradually shifts your brain's default setting from focusing on problems to noticing both problems and blessings. Over time, this creates a more balanced perspective that naturally leads to better mental health. Gratitude also helps you recognize that even in difficult circumstances, there are usually some elements of your life that are working. This recognition can provide stability during challenging periods. The art of letting thoughts pass. Your thoughts are constantly flowing through your mind like clouds across the sky. The key to mental peace isn't stopping thoughts or controlling them, but learning to observe them without getting pulled into every mental drama. When you notice your mind spinning with worry or negative thinking, you can remind yourself that thoughts are just mental events. They're not necessarily true, and they're not permanent. You can acknowledge them and then gently redirect your attention to something else. This might sound simple, but it takes practice. Most of us are used to believing and following every thought that enters our minds. Learning to be selective about which thoughts deserve your attention is a valuable skill. You might imagine your thoughts as leaves floating down a stream. You can notice them without jumping in and swimming after each one. This creates a sense of mental spaciousness that feels very peaceful. The comfort of connection. Human connection is essential for mental health, but it's the quality of connections that matters more than the quantity. Having even one or two relationships where you feel genuinely understood and accepted can provide tremendous support for your well-being. This might mean scheduling regular phone calls with a close friend, joining a group or club related to your interests, or simply being more present and open in conversations with people you already know. Good connections don't require you to be perfect or always positive. Healthy relationships allow space for you to share struggles as well as joys. When you can be authentic with others, it reduces the exhausting work of maintaining a facade. If you're feeling isolated, start small. Even brief, genuine interactions with neighbors, co-workers, or people in your community can contribute to your sense of connection and belonging. The healing power of nature. Spending time in nature has proven benefits for mental health, reducing stress, anxiety, and depression, while improving mood and clarity. You don't need to go hiking in mountains. Even small doses of nature can be healing. This might be sitting under a tree in your neighborhood, tending to houseplants, watching birds outside your window, or taking your lunch break in a nearby park. The key is being present with whatever natural elements are available to you. Nature has a way of putting our problems into perspective and reminding us that we're part of something larger than our immediate concerns. There's something deeply soothing about connecting with the rhythms and cycles of the natural world. Even looking at pictures of nature or listening to nature sounds can have calming effects when you can't get outside. Your nervous system responds positively to natural imagery and sounds, helping you feel more grounded and peaceful. The practice of self-compassion. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a good friend who's struggling. Instead of harsh self-criticism, you learn to respond to your own difficulties with gentleness and support. When you make a mistake or face a setback, instead of berating yourself, you might say something like, "This is really difficult right now. I'm doing the best I can with what I know." This doesn't mean making excuses, but rather acknowledging your humanity. Self-compassion actually motivates positive change more effectively than self-criticism. When you feel supported and understood by yourself, you're more likely to take care of your needs and make healthy choices. This practice can feel unfamiliar at first if you're used to being hard on yourself. Start by simply noticing when you're being self-critical. Then experiment with speaking to yourself more kindly. The value of professional support. Seeking help from a therapist, counselor, or other mental health professional is a sign of wisdom and self-care, not weakness. Just as you might see a doctor for physical concerns, professional support can be invaluable for mental and emotional well-being. Therapy doesn't mean there's something fundamentally wrong with you. It's simply a space to process experiences, learn new coping strategies, and gain insights with the guidance of someone trained to help. You don't have to wait until you're in crisis to seek support. Many people benefit from therapy during relatively stable periods as a way to maintain good mental health and develop skills for handling life's inevitable challenges. If traditional therapy isn't accessible, there are also support groups, online resources, and mental health apps that can provide valuable tools and connection. The rhythm of rest. Quality rest is fundamental to mental health, yet many people treat sleep and relaxation as luxuries rather than necessities. Your brain needs adequate rest to process emotions, consolidate memories, and maintain good judgment. This means not just getting enough sleep, but also building relaxation into your daily routine. Your nervous system needs regular opportunities to shift out of high alert mode and into rest and restore mode. Rest might look different for different people. Some find it in napping, others in quiet activities like reading or gentle music. The key is regularly giving yourself permission to do nothing productive and simply be. When you consistently prioritize rest, you'll likely find that you're more resilient to stress, more emotionally balanced, and better able to handle life's challenges. The freedom of forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't about condoning harmful behavior or pretending everything is fine.
It's about freeing yourself from the burden of carrying resentment, which ultimately hurts you more than the person you're angry with. This process often starts with forgiving yourself for mistakes you've made, opportunities you've missed, or ways you've fallen short of your own expectations. Self-forgiveness is often the hardest but most important forgiveness work. Forgiving others doesn't mean you have to maintain relationships with people who've harmed you. It means choosing to release the anger and resentment that keep you tied to painful experiences. Forgiveness is usually a gradual process rather than a one-time decision. You might find yourself needing to choose forgiveness repeatedly as memories or triggers arise. Each time you choose forgiveness, you choose your own peace.
The joy of simple pleasures. Mental health isn't just about managing problems, it's also about actively cultivating positive experiences. Simple pleasures are small, accessible sources of joy that don't cost much money or require special circumstances. This might be savoring your morning coffee, listening to a favorite song, petting an animal, or watching a beautiful sunset. These moments of simple pleasure can provide genuine happiness and help balance out life's stresses. The key is being present enough to notice and appreciate these experiences when they happen. Often we're so focused on our problems or future goals that we miss the small gifts that are available right now. Making time for simple pleasures isn't frivolous, it's an important part of maintaining mental health. These positive moments help build resilience and remind you that life contains beauty alongside difficulty.
The strength of vulnerability. Vulnerability, the willingness to be open about your struggles and imperfections, can feel scary, but is actually a source of strength and connection. When you pretend to be fine all the time, you miss opportunities for support and genuine relationships. This doesn't mean sharing your personal struggles with everyone, but rather being selectively open with trusted people about what you're really experiencing. When you stop hiding your humanity, others often respond with their own authenticity. Vulnerability also means being honest with yourself about your needs and limitations. Instead of pushing through everything alone, you can acknowledge when you need help, rest, or support. Many people find that when they stop trying to appear perfect, their relationships become deeper and more meaningful. Vulnerability creates the space for real intimacy and mutual support. The wisdom of limits. Everyone has limits, emotional, physical, and mental. Mental health involves learning to recognize these limits and respect them, rather than constantly pushing beyond your capacity. This might mean limiting how much news you consume if it increases your anxiety, or recognizing when you need to step back from a demanding situation to recharge. It's about being honest about what you can handle in a given moment or season. Respecting your limits isn't giving up or being weak, it's being realistic about your human needs. When you consistently push beyond your capacity, you're more likely to experience burnout, illness, or emotional overwhelm. Learning your limits often involves some trial and error. Pay attention to the warning signs that you're approaching your capacity: fatigue, irritability, difficulty concentrating, and practice responding to these signals with self-care. The power of purpose. Having a sense of purpose, feeling that your life has meaning and direction, is strongly connected to mental health and resilience. Purpose doesn't have to be grandiose. It can be found in simple ways of contributing to others or pursuing what matters to you. This might be through your work, relationships, creative pursuits, volunteer activities, or the way you show up for people you care about. The key is feeling that your existence makes some positive difference, however small. Purpose often emerges from paying attention to what naturally energizes you and what problems or needs you feel drawn to address. It's less about finding your one true calling and more about engaging meaningfully with life as it is. When you have a sense of purpose, it provides stability during difficult times and motivation during periods when you feel stuck. Purpose gives you something larger than your immediate problems to focus on.
The peace of present moments. Much of our mental distress comes from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Present moment awareness, the practice of bringing your attention to what's happening right now, can provide immediate relief from this mental time travel. You can cultivate present moment awareness by paying attention to your physical sensations, your breathing, or what you can see, hear, and smell around you. These sensory experiences are always happening in the present. This isn't about never thinking about the past or future, but rather learning to come back to the present when your mind gets caught in unproductive rumination or worry. The present moment is the only place where you actually have any power to influence your experience. Regular practice of present moment awareness can reduce anxiety and depression while increasing your appreciation for ordinary experiences that you might otherwise overlook.
The art of gentle discipline. Mental health benefits from gentle self-discipline, creating routines and boundaries that support your well-being without being harsh or punitive. This is discipline motivated by self-care rather than self-criticism. This might look like going to bed at a reasonable time because you know you feel better when you're rested, or limiting social media because you've noticed it affects your mood. It's making choices based on what actually serves your mental health. Gentle discipline is flexible and compassionate. If you don't follow through perfectly, you respond with understanding rather than harsh judgment. The goal is progress and self-care, not perfection. When discipline comes from love rather than punishment, it feels supportive rather than restrictive. You're creating a life structure that helps you thrive, rather than forcing yourself into rigid rules. The journey of growth. Mental health isn't a destination you reach, but an ongoing journey of growth and learning. This perspective can be very freeing because it means you don't have to have everything figured out or be perfectly balanced all the time. Growth involves being curious about yourself and your experiences rather than judgmental. When you face challenges or setbacks, you can ask, "What might I learn from this?" rather than, "What's wrong with me?" This growth mindset helps you see difficulties as opportunities for development rather than evidence of your inadequacy. It creates resilience because you trust in your ability to learn and adapt rather than needing to be perfect from the start. The journey of growth is lifelong, which means you can be patient with yourself and trust that you'll continue developing the skills and wisdom you need as you go along.